so much for being on Lessons Learned.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Yes, Aqua Game. He's Aquarius.
Aquarius gang, Aquarius Nation. Shout out to all
Yes,
the Aquariuses. And we're like a day apart.
I know, right? That's crazy. And we met on Twitter. Like, what are the odds?
I know. And you're
Crazy.
one of those active like Twitter followers that actually engages. So thank you for engaging. Because some people like it can be lonely on Twitter.
It could
I
be
don't take it
very
personally.
lonely, very lonely. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on. So, like, I feel like for this topic, we're going to talk about, why the Black community is going through what we've been going through for years.
Okay.
And I don't know if a lot of people that watch my, show, but young Dolph has recently died, and people probably don't really know him that much, but he's a Black rapper that's died in his own community. And so I definitely think we should talk about that, because why is Black people always killing our own kind? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to like already jump in on that, but I just think it's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, I could definitely jump in on that. It's here's the thing, right? Have you heard of this saying where people say things like, actually saw this quote today, where there's poverty, there's gonna be crime.
Yep.
Right? So when you think about the history of this country, historically, we've always been at the end of the spectrum, right? That 400 years of slavery and kind of like being 400 years behind, they have all this privilege. And so when you have people who are uneducated, people who are poor, people who are struggling, people who don't know any better. For example, the Chicago community, I know for a while, I was like so intrigued and kind of like scared or just, it was just very interesting. I'm like, why the people in Chicago and other cities like that, like St. Louis, East St. Louis, if anyone's familiar with that, but it really goes down really crazy. And their mindset though is survival mode. So they don't get the luxury of like, okay, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to college, I have a two-parent household, my parents are buying, I got a car, like they're not like getting these things handed down to them.
That's what I'm saying.
And so you have that issue. Then you also have the issue of the household, right? That black their father probably isn't present because again, broken cycle, right? They
Yep.
broke up families back in the slavery days. Like soon as they brought them from the ship, if they saw a family together, they're gonna split them up because guess what? We want this man over here. We're gonna have, so now you got the single mother coming from slavery days. You get what I'm saying? And so I just think you have like a history of just that
Slavery.
poverty,
Yeah,
stress, anger, and rage. And so when you combine those things, it's kind of like animals in the wild at that point, like
exactly.
I got beef with you, and they don't really own anything, right? Some of these people live in government housing or they're renting, and so they don't have a title at a job or at an office, and they don't feel important in any other spectrum. So what makes them happy is their territory or their clique, or
Yep.
this is my team, and da 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 da. And so you come against my gang, my team, my crew, we gonna kill you.
Yep.
So
I definitely think on a deeper level, it's basically we are all kind of on a generational curse, because if you think about it, slavery is in our DNA. That's all we
right.
were allowed. And even sometimes when you look at another Black person, like I used to be like this, but after I had my spiritual awakening and actually realized like, who I really am, sometimes you get that tension between another Black person. You look at them, you're like, oh, who does she think she is and all that. But then throughout time you have to learn and grow out of that, because you know that the competition is within yourself, it's not within other people around you.
Correct. And I think more than ever, this is a time, like you said, when your vibrations are increasing and rising, and once you
Yes.
become centered, you realize what's important, and you can actually see clearly what's happening. What's happening is the white man is against us, right? So
Yep.
you have the police team, you got the legal system, all the entire system is not for us, it's against us. And
Yep.
so the problem that I have is if everything's against us, at the bare minimum, we should be like, okay, they all are against us. Why wouldn't we at least
Just
stand up
come
for each other,
together.
come together? But again, the community is so broken to the point where white people don't even really got to kill us if they don't want to. We'll kill each other.
Exactly.
And so they don't really, they realize, they fail to realize is that like they're the victim of like so much. and we are the victim of so much. And but
Right.
that mentality of like that black person got it, and who does she think she is? I think
Such a low
that's
vibration.
toxic. That's toxic. You should be
Yes.
like, hey sis, I love what you're doing. You should actually take notes on like, how did you get to where you're going, and like find
Yes.
inspiration in that. Because if she can do it, that means you can do it too.
Exactly. Exactly. Do you think we'll ever like overcome this?
I think a lot of us will, but some of us won't. So to that point, for those people who stay at a low vibration, the people who listen, like if you're listening, if you're consuming music, right? Because a lot of these people in the hood rap about their realities, and then which is probably bad, right? And then but that reality is put into music, which becomes normalized and becomes cool. So as long as you have people listening to that type of music, watching those music videos, watching those movies, hanging around a certain type of crowd, doing things that are not progressive, yes, those people are going to stay small-minded. But I think as we have the other spectrum of people like myself who are conscious, who are self-aware, who are spiritual, who do things such as giving up meat to help raise your third eye and different things like
Also
that.
vegan.
Right, come on, team vegan. So once you do things like that, you really see life clearly, and you can like calm down and self-analyze, and you realize that you're competing with no one but the old version of yourself. So I compare, like each year I'm trying to see how I can be a better me. What can I do that I didn't do last year? And if I'm doing something wrong, who can I find inspiration from? How can I get help?
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. And so I know we talked about this before, but how did you start working for yourself? How did you get out of that corporate, world?
Right. Good question. So yeah, I was, if anyone watching who's like, what is she talking about? Me and her talk offline. I told her, I work for myself. This is something that's very recent, but it's been something I've been anticipating. So I went to school. My degree is in like sales and marketing.
Nice.
So at the time, what'd you say?
I said nice.
Oh, yeah. But so at the time when I was graduating high school and choosing that major, I was really caught up in the white man's world. I was just caught, not that I wanted to be white, but I was just caught in capitalism. And so,
Right.
what's the most capitalized industry you can think of? The marketing and sales, right? So I've worked in St. Louis. I've worked in New York City, at like the financial district. And I've also worked in Atlanta at really nice corporate companies making good money. But I saw a common theme at each job that I went to. I was unhappy. I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't like the idea of me hounding people, whether it was calling, emailing, or whatever, about trying to get them to sign up for something, or I don't know, like just pitching people all the time. Over time, I didn't like it. I didn't like the nonsense in the office. Very cutthroat. So anyway, long story short, that was this history of whether I either would just quit the job because I didn't like it, or these jobs would do a massive layoff where I've noticed some companies will keep you for 3 months. Like they'll hire a big group of people, keep you in for 3 months, and then they'll lay everyone off, hire in a new group. They do this to avoid having to pay for your insurance, pay for those benefits when they come up, also to avoid unemployment checks, because if you ever had to file for unemployment, it looks for your most 2-year recent employment. So 3 months, you're not gonna get it. Long story short, y'all, I'm gonna connect the dots. From what I knew about working, I decided to, instead of spending all this money on my rent, on my cars, with insurance and all this type of stuff, I said, you know what, this industry or just this life for me is not working. It's not consistent enough for me. I'm not fulfilled. So I started saving money. So each check, instead of me like, oh, I'm gonna like ball out and do this, I was like saving my money instead, because I've been in positions where I was living in New York, making good money, but my expenses were also very high. So when those jobs came to a conclusion, for whatever reason, it was like, damn, I'm back to square one, you know?
Right.
So with my last opportunity, I used that money to save. And so with that saving, I was able to, while I was getting paid, not just saving, I was investing, I was buying products. So you probably see a couple bottles of oil over there in the back, those big jugs. So I have a hair, scalp, and body oil line that's coming in a couple weeks. Um, ha-
Ooh.
yeah, yeah, thank you. Um, so when it comes to creating a business, I've always been one of those people where, and then you probably people hear this all the time, like do something that you love to do.
Yeah.
Like try to capitalize off of something that you're knowledgeable about, something that you love. I've been making hair oils ever since I've had locks, which has been 3 years. I cut my locks recently, if you can see, but I've had like my locks for 3 years, and I've always made my
Yeah.
own oils. And people are like, "Oh my God, your hair smells good. What's in your hair?" I always got compliments on it. So I decided, like, I know this, like, also I chose to do that. But so yeah, that's kind of what I did. But to be a little bit more specific, you guys have to challenge, well, you have to sacrifice.
Mm.
Right now, I live in Midtown Atlanta, which is a great location. Like I'm in the city, but I'm not balling. I have a roommate, so you got to be smart. I have a roommate.
Right.
Number one, I have a roommate, so my expenses are kind of cut in half. Number two, I recently moved from, I live in New York. I moved from New York to Atlanta last year. So when I moved to New York, I got rid of my car. So I don't have a car. So, because I live in the city, I have access to public transportation
Yeah.
and all types of stuff. I can get around. But I say that to say those are my two. You have to sometimes, I don't know your situation, but you have to figure out what your situation is and see if you can sacrifice.
Mm.
Because I don't have a vehicle, because I have a roommate, I was able to save more than I normally would in my previous careers. Whenever you meet entrepreneurs, they'll tell you about sacrifice or something they had to give up. So I know that moving forward, when I do get a vehicle, when I get my own place, it'll be off of the back of my own business. So before I even officially got things started with, my getting my products, I got everything official, like everything's good to go. I've actually been making sales at my work, the building that I live in. Some people have been buying from me already, haven't even launched.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you.
I
Yeah,
love that. I really do. I really love that for you. And you have to send me the link once you get everything because I want some of that too.
yes, yes. It's
And
called
I know
Crown.
people will want that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick plug. It's called Crown Juice.
Yes.
It's called Crown Juice Naturals. I have an Instagram page. You can go follow it now. I won't be posting until like a week or two, but if you want to just follow it now to get updates, and crownjuicenaturals.com. But here's my little business card.
Okay. Yes.
Oops, I dropped it. But everything is like organic, natural. So here's all the
Wow.
details.
You have lemongrass,
Yes, lemongrass.
eucalyptus, like what? Castor
I have.
oil, grapeseed, like all that stuff is so good for your scalp.
Yes, and right, and I also have like coconut oil. I have avocado oil. I have a lot of stuff. And so most of it's organic, and if it's not organic, it's pure and natural. So I only
Right.
use organic and pure natural products. I don't use any artificial ingredients. Everything is vegan. You're not gonna get any additives. All
Yes.
plant-based, all natural. So
Wow.
yeah.
So if someone wanted to start, they basically have to sacrifice what they really want to do.
What I would say is assess your life. And like I had to look at, because like everyone has their own privileges or their own whatever, right? Like I know someone she's doing her thing, but her mother is very successful, and was able to just like hand her basically all the tools that she needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so she used her leverage, which was her mom, to get to where she is. Some of us don't have that. So I
Right.
had to analyze and look at my life and say, you know what? I'm making good money. You know what I mean? Like I'm making great money right now. I'm splitting my expenses. I don't have a vehicle. So let me make up like a concrete savings plan. Like I was actually like, okay, I'm gonna save like 800 a month or whatever, whatever my goal was.
Yeah.
I would do that and actually like save it. And What happened was I forgot to add this. I was laid off. I was a part of a massive layoff for this company. They do this, they rotate people out, and I
Yeah.
felt it coming. And I felt that that's why all my checks, I was getting inventory, putting money in my savings account. Like I was well prepared for this. So when it happened, I was like, okay, well, this is now the time for me to like go all the way. I said, I'm done working. I was like, this is a sign that I needed. I have no interest in going back. And so I'm just gonna do this. And I'm gonna put the same 8 hours that I was putting at a company and put that into myself.
Mm, that is so crucial, like the 8 hours, because we spend every day working 8 hours a day, and then we're so tired that we don't have time to work on ourselves.
You don't have time to work on yourself. You don't even have time to think about a plan. Like,
Yes.
you saw my YouTube channel. For everyone watching, my YouTube is Juicy Real Talk. But
Follow him.
hey, please subscribe. But I'm as you can see, I'm like close to 3,000 subscribers, right? I got 1,000 subscribers within 3 or 4 months. And the reason why I was able to do that is because when I first launched my channel, I wasn't working. All of my successes in life, the way that I've always advanced, whether it was YouTube, creating this business, it was always at a time that I wasn't working because I was able to think. Because like
Yes.
when you are working, you don't need, it's like when you home, you tired, you burnt out, you just want to eat, sleep, and binge watch something on Netflix. You don't have time
Yeah.
to think about a business or to be great.
Wow. That is so crucial. So I guess my only last question is, what are the lessons that you've learned so far in life when it comes to like, it could be like anything. Like, what's the most important lesson that you've learned?
Um, yeah, I've learned a lot, but one thing that I will say that's very crucial is thinking for yourself. That's so vital. If you don't think for yourself, you'll find yourself falling for all the fads, right? Like if you're a female, if you're following people, you'll probably be inclined to get a butt, get a BBL, you want a fake butt, you want this, you're using all the filters, you want to get a fake nose. Like, if you go wherever the wind blows, if they say everyone get the vaccine, you're gonna get the vaccine. And I'm not throwing shade because I know you got the vaccine. I saw that video too. You had to do it for your trip, but some people.
I mean, I actually didn't. That's what I said later in the video. I was like, I actually didn't even have to get this. But
you didn't do the trip anymore?
No, I did, but like after when I got on the trip, they didn't even like really check for my vaccination. That's why I was like, yo, don't even do it like that. You know what I mean? That's how they get you.
Right. And that's a whole other conversation that we could probably do for another video.
Exactly.
but if if you don't know who you are, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so if you stand for something, whether that's whatever, like if a dream that you have for life, whatever, you're gonna always be clear and you're gonna fight for that no matter what. And once you know who you are and you love yourself, anything is possible.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. So tell me, like, what are your what's one of your takeaways, your life takeaways that maybe I can take from you or anyone watching that you probably haven't talked about?
I mean, I feel like I've said this multiple times, but like definitely never giving up on your dreams and just keep pursuing. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. You just have to keep pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm really big on. And I'm really big on learning, reading books, looking at YouTube videos, just really engaging in yourself, taking time with yourself. Yeah, there's some days that you're tired after work and stuff, but as long as you work on yourself, you read something that you learn more about yourself, then that's all that matters.
So true.
And another thing is you have to take your time. Like it's not going to happen overnight. And that's one thing I had to realize. Like it's literally baby steps. Like they say baby, like you have to take your time because sometimes you get impatient, but like even if you are getting patient, you have to be in that moment and meditate. If people do meditate and like just like isolate yourself and be like, okay, I know this is going to take time and I know throughout it's just going to be better for me because a year from now it's going to be so different.
Speaking of that, I have to show y'all something right now, okay? Because you see this? I made this at the top of this year. I think this was like January 2021. Wow. And you see this necklace, hair, and body oils. I just wrote it down. I had a lunch here. It said in June. That didn't happen. I started working. I was too busy working for that to happen. But plan and purchase, research vendors, all this stuff. And all of it is happening right now. I remember working, like I used to be at my job bored. This little book right here. I started
writing down everything, right?
Listen. This is crazy. I was writing down some of my like
I'm telling you, that's what I do at my job right now, because I have a lot of downtime. So I just write down certain things.
Do that. Keep doing that. You see this? I found like Crown Juice. Like I was like pitching what I wanted my logo to be, the name, all the details. Like I was going in, and to see it all happen now, manifestation is super real.
It's so real.
What do you want to do? What's your plan? I know you're working 2 jobs. What are your dreams?
My dream is to make this podcast poppin'. Well, to just like, you know, to just, okay, honestly, my real dream is to have random people reach out to me and they want to share their lessons or they want to be on the podcast, you know?
Wow.
And like, I love that because we are all learning. Because if you really think about it, and some people don't believe this, but I truly believe this, we are a collective. We are all literally one. So it's really like, every time when you learn something from someone, you are learning something else about yourself. So that's why, like, if some like people reach out to me, they send me emails, they read like a bunch of stuff, then I'd just be honored. And when people tell me, oh, I listen to your podcast, I love your podcast, like that means so much to me. And I feel like people don't realize that, but it honestly means the world, because it means it's a confirmation for me that I'm in the right track and I just have to keep pushing. You know what I mean?
You really do. Like I was listening to your videos earlier, and you have a great speaking voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, you really do. Like you're in the right field. And I know your sentiments. I'm not sure if you went all the way down to my videos, but I interview people as well. And I used to interview I actually interviewed like sex workers and OnlyFans people, but I had to take some of that off because I didn't know YouTube has some rules. But I actually love just digging deep. And you actually inspired me by having me here, because I used to do a lot of this. And I'm trying to get back into that.
Yes, and you forward. Will.
And I will. And I'm gonna make some. I'm making 2 videos tomorrow. But you know, you just really inspired me. So thank you for that. And also, if you want to get on my channel, I can bring you onto my channel. And
yes, I definitely want to. And like, I don't want to like, you know, spill all my plans out, but one thing I'm definitely doing this year is I'm having a big Black History Month, like videos, like bunch of videos every week.
Oh.
So like, I definitely want you coming back on it, talking about your hair products. Like, I want this to be popping, because last year, I don't know if you saw my videos, I only had like 3 or 4 videos. Like, I was kind of really disappointed in myself because like, hello, but I know this year I want to have something big. Like, I want to talk to professors, I want to talk to artists, I want to talk like everything, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Black people, or not even just Black people, there's a lot of people that don't know the history about, you know, African Americans, about slavery. And so I just think it's super, super important for me to take the step to learn about, you know, my ancestors and my culture.
Absolutely. You know? I think that's amazing. You're shifting the narrative and you're engaging our people. So I support that 100%. I support that 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Since you brought up the topic of Black history and expressing the history, how do you feel about, it was recently, oh my God, actually Condoleezza Rice, okay? She's Black and all. I don't know if you heard this comment that she made, but her ignorant ass made a comment where she said, basically she feels like they should tailor the education system to kind of override or not be clear about racism in order to protect how the feelings of the white students. And I'm like, us Black students and Black people in general, we had to go through that. That's a privilege to even consider, not even talking about it. Like, white, that's privilege in itself. We can't, whether we talk about it or not, which we can't not talk about it because it happened to us all the time.
Exactly.
But we don't have that luxury. And for her Black ass to say that, excuse my French, I'm sorry, that was just it was a lot of Uncle Toms and a lot of puppeteers in the industry. And that's why people be like, oh, we got a Black president, or we got a Black this, we got a Black that. It doesn't matter if their agenda, if they literally follow the rules and the movements of Europeans or the white people, like, it doesn't matter. They're just, at that point, they're a white person in blackface. Anyway, honestly, what's your opinion on that? I'm sorry.
That's so crazy that you said that. And my only thing is, if you're not questioning the government, if you're not questioning this whole system, then you're
Right.
sleeping. You're
It's
literally sleeping and you're ignorant, honestly, because how do you not want to know more about Black history? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that people are like, especially a Black person,
a Black person.
having, yeah. And honestly, that just shows right there, she's whitewashed. A lot of
Yes.
Black people are whitewashed. And I could honestly, I'm going to be very vulnerable. I went to a predominantly white school. I was definitely whitewashed. Like, I
Yeah.
was scared of, like, just recently I've been wearing my natural hair. I was so scared to like be Black, you know what I mean?
That's
Because I didn't
sad.
want to be judged. Isn't that sad? But
That's
I
sad.
didn't know that. I didn't know
Right.
that back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I just can only imagine how many other Black people are like that, especially females. Because, so I just think we are a lot of, I just feel like a lot of Black women are kind of whitewashed. Like, they don't know. And that's
A
another thing.
lot.
A
Even
lot
the,
of
even if,
people,
even the wigs and the weaves and all that
that's
stuff.
all they wear. And they wear blonde hair, they wear different colors. Like, come on now. You're hiding your natural hair. You're
Like
hiding it.
literally, the best, if I were to tell them, if I come up to a white woman, a Black girl who wear wigs and weaves and all that stuff, and if I say, how would you feel if a white woman wore Afro wigs and locks? You're like, oh my God, cultural appropriation, or she would look weird. Or if I was to say, how would you feel if I put on the hairstyle, if I got a wig cap of the hair textures of most white men and I started wearing that, y'all would say I look weird, but y'all only say, but how is it that I look weird wearing a European or it's another
And
culture's
you
hair
could
on my
see
head?
the lace and stuff, not to disrespect, but like, come on, think about that, you
It's
know?
just sad. And then they want around town. You know where I'm going with this because it's on one of my videos. How you gonna say you want a real man, okay? And you have fake hair, fake butt.
It's the
But
truth
anyway,
though. When that title, like, it really resonated with me because so many people want a fake ass, fake titties, like they want to look a certain way, but then they want real qualities of a man or just someone that they're talking to. That doesn't make any sense. That's not going to happen. Like, you can't, and it's just like with positivity. If you have a negative mindset, there's no way you're going to have a positive life.
Kim, listen, something just hit me, and it's gonna come full circle to what we kind of touched on earlier when we talked about why is it that Black people are against Black people. A perfect comparison or a kind of a example. Black women and this some of the Black women, because not all of them, because some of us are really waking up, but a lot of the Black women out there are caught up in wigs and weaves and they don't and all this stuff, superficial stuff that's not organic to their natural roots, right? This
Yes.
all stems from slavery and post-slavery, right? Because when back in, I want to waste a little bit before the civil rights era, when we began working in the corporate spaces, having Black hair was seen as ghetto. Like
Oh,
having your natural hair was seen as ghetto. You're not gonna get the job. So a lot of Black women who were getting into the workplace had to wear wigs or they would perm their hair. So from the beginning of time, in terms of that, um, wearing your hair was seen as not right. And so over time, so women have gotten accustomed to either perms, wigs, weaves, right?
yep.
And sew-ins, I don't know the stuff, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. So now it went from we had to do that because we just couldn't get the job, but now we've like the Black parents has put that self-hate into their kids, and they thought they were doing the right thing. I'm gonna perm your hair, or okay, I'm gonna put a wig in your hair, I'm gonna put a weave in your head, and so now it's normalized to the point where now women are not going through those, like they're not going through that discrimination in the workplace anymore for their hair in most places.
They are, and I'm gonna
Some places,
honestly say, yeah.
huh?
Honestly, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but people have told me, because I wear my natural hair and like I have a lot of hair naturally. I mean, I'm wearing braids right now, but my natural hair, like, people would say, even a Black person, they would say my hair is unprofessional for
Where are
my
you from?
job.
Where are you from?
I live in Massachusetts.
Okay, that's probably something. You live in Massachusetts, so I can see why that ignorance and that hate
Exactly.
would
But
be
that's what
there.
I'm saying. There's so many ignorant Black people or just people in general that don't know the true meaning of what it's like to go through
And
this,
yeah, and I think that's even more reason to fight and stand your ground. Not literally fight,
Exactly.
but to stand your
Yeah.
ground, because if at the end of the day, for HR purposes, they have to employ diverse people. They can't just have an all white staff.
Yeah.
So with that being said, if all Black women and people were to wear the natural hair, they would have no choice but to get the program and hire them. What are you going to do? Not hire any
But the
black people?
fact that a black person is calling
Oh,
that unprofessional,
she's
that just
whitewashed.
says exactly. And that's why I go back to my point saying there's so, especially if I was whitewashed back in the day and I didn't know, there's so many black women that are whitewashed to this day. And it's sickening. It really is. Like, it's really sad, especially now that you awaken, you have a higher vibration and you see.
Yeah.
It's really sad. And that's why you kind of have to take, when you see other people and they're being a certain way, you just have to realize, oh, they're sleeping. They literally don't know what they're doing.
And then you try to wake them up and they mad at you, you know? So
They're
it's crazy.
literally sleeping.
Yeah. And it's sad, you know, you grew up in Massachusetts, or you live in Massachusetts currently. I grew up in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta and New York for the most part. So like,
Yeah.
in all of my jobs, and I've worked in St. Louis too, but all of my jobs, I've had hair. Like I had, you know, whether it was an afro, whether it was like my last job, I had like long locks, you know, I cut it locks. And so I never had an issue personally. I always was like, because I remember the first job I had, my mom, she was like, because she knew how my hair was, she was like, that's unprofessional. What you gonna do with your hair? And I was like, I was like, Mom, I'm educated. And I'm gonna come in nicely dressed. Like I'm gonna have a suit and tie and everything like that. And when they interview me, I'm gonna be as professional as I already am. And so if that company chooses not to hire me for who I am and what I'm giving, as opposed to what's on my head,
that's their loss.
I don't
want
want
to
work
work there. Yeah.
And guess what? When I had that same interview, the lady told me, "Oh my God, I love it." Like a white woman too. I love your hair. Oh my God. So we have this thing where the mothers or our own people are condemning or saying what's wrong because they're whitewashed. But now you go to the office and some of the white people are like, "Oh, that's cool. I like your hair."
Exactly. It's just like, we got to break that generational curse. We have to. And like you said, some people, they're not going to wake up to this. But I just feel like if I keep, you know, and also you too, you just keep making videos, keep putting the information out there, eventually people are going to get that click like we both did and wake up. You know? So at the end of the day, like we could talk about how like everyone's whitewashed and stuff, but as long as we're positive and like really hopeful about how Black people are gonna wake up to this and be more together, then that's all that matters.
Yes. That's I think that's a good note to leave it at. I have one other thing I want to add, because you asked me about a life lesson. And one other comment I want to make is to that point that you just said, live a life. This is a quote by Muhammad Gandhi. What is it? Be the change you want to see in the world. Yes. And that's kind of how I live my life. I feel like Black people should love themselves and embrace themselves and be natural and whatever. And that's what I embody. I feel like us as humans should stop eating dead animals and let these animals have a free life. So guess what? I don't eat meat. I feel like people should give love and be more loving and have compassion. So I give love, I give compassion. And so I just encourage anyone watching this, like whatever you see that's wrong in the world, just remember that quote, like be the change you want to see, live that in yourself, and the energy and what you're going to attract by doing that is going to be so good for you.
Right. And I'm going to hop on like the dead animals. If you feel like junk and if you eat junk, your mindset and everything is going to be junk. Literally, it's going to go down. Like there's no thing around it. And people get mad at that, but it's the truth. That's why you feel like shit. Like that's why you have all these problems. It's because you're eating that.
And that's why you're depressed and have anxiety.
That's why. And even if you do like have meat here and there, just eat more veggies and fruits. That's all you got to do. More water. Some people don't even drink water.
I know.
That's just like
it's crazy. And they look at you crazy.
You drink soda, Red Bull, coffee, like alcohol. Like you're literally killing yourself. You want to eat to live, not eat to die. So
you preaching to the choir. Y'all better listen to what she's saying.
Yeah, you know, like just eat better, be better, inspire people, don't judge people.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you know, and no one's perfect. You know, all you can do is
no one's perfect.
All you can do is just try to on this journey that we have, be the best person that you can and just strive for the
That's
best.
it. Yeah. Enjoying the journey.
Yeah. That's my answer these days. When people say like, how's life going? What are you doing? I'm enjoying the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was so nice talking to you. Like, this is, I think it's the Aquarius, like
It
all
is.
that. It's just amazing.
I
It
knew
really
this was gonna
is.
be good. Like when we already had a cool vibe on Twitter, and then
Right.
when I saw your YouTube channel and just the titles of your videos, I was like, okay, we're here. Like we're
We're
gonna
on the
click.
same, maybe we're part of the same tribe.
Seriously.
You probably are,
We are.
like we're on the same frequency for sure. Like
Definitely.
everything you were saying, I'm like, yes, like literally, like, and then you have your hair oil company. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. You're gonna inspire so many people, especially Black people in
I
this
hope so.
community. You will,
Thank you.
you know? Yes. Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to be on your show.
Yes, like I'll talk to you offline, but I want to do that ASAP. Maybe within
Yeah.
a couple of days or about a week from now, or so we'll get together on that.
Yeah.
For anyone watching, if you want to connect with me,
Follow him.
yes,
Follow him.
my YouTube channel is Juicy Real Talk. Okay, my company, my natural products is Crown Juice Naturals. And if you
I'll
want
have the link and all that
oh,
too on my
cool,
thing.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
don't worry.
She got my
I
back.
got you. Yeah, I got your back. Don't worry. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good night, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Yes, we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye bye. Thank you for having me.